Over the decades, The Simpsons introduced dozens of characters who appeared just once, yet left a lasting impression. From unforgettable guest stars to odd townies that never returned. We're diving into where they went and why they never came back. But just what happened to these one-hit wonders?
Grimes, a 35-year-old Springfieldite who's earned everything the hard way, but never let adversity get him down.
Frank Grimes appeared in just one episode, Homer's Enemy, and immediately regretted it. This was a man who worked hard, studied through the mail like it was 1912, and once survived an explosion because he apparently forgot how quitting works. After all that effort, he ended up sitting next to a human jelly donut named Homer Simpson at the Springfield nuclear plant. Grimes Grimy, if you're into cruel nicknames, watched in horror as Homer bumbled through life like a lucky raccoon in a tuxedo. One day, Grimes broke, snapped, flipped all the switches in his brain, and decided to act like Homer to prove a point. Instead, he electrocuted himself into Simpson history. He died as he lived. Confused, frustrated, and very much not hugged enough. He only had one episode, but fans still whisper his name whenever something fair happens to someone lazy. Then there was Hank Scorpio, offering you a cup of cocoa and asking about your day. He showed up in You Only Move Twice, where Homer got a new job and didn't read the fine print about his boss being a Bond villain. Scorpio smiled, cracked jokes, cared deeply enough about his employees' wellness, and also launched missiles at the Pentagon. He was the kind of guy who'd give you a flamethrower for Christmas and mean it. Unlike Grimes, who clashed with the absurdity of Springfield, Scorpio wore it like a snuggly robe. He never returned because, honestly, what else was there to do after trying to conquer the planet in sandals? And then there was Herbert Powell, Homer's half-brother and proof that bad DNA travels fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed stockholders, members of the press, Your Holiness.
He debuted in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, bursting onto the scene with a fancy suit and a car company. He believed in Homer. That was his first mistake. He let Homer design a car. That was his last. The car was so hideous it made babies cry and bank accounts empty. Herbert went bankrupt, which is the corporate version of a wedgie. But he wasn't done. In Brother, Can You Spare Two Times, he returned with a new plan, Baby Translator. Babies talked, money flowed, and Herbert smiled again. A full story arc, like a soap opera, with slightly fewer explosions. Over in the childhood heartbreak aisle, we meet Laura Powers. She moved in next door in New Kid on the Block and made Bart Simpson believe in love and disappointment.
I have a boyfriend.
Within the same 22 minutes. Laura was cool, older, funny, and didn't realize she was starring in Bart's emotional meltdown. Things got worse when she started dating Jimbo, Springfield's answer to What If a Hoodie Had Feelings. Bart, in a moment of poorly planned genius, tricked Moe into humiliating Jimbo. Laura noticed, nodded, and didn't love him. One episode, one broken heart. One life lesson about the dangers of crushes and prank calls. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Lyle Lanley, con artist, song and dance man, and owner of exactly 0 working monorails. He showed up in Marge versus the Monorail, sang a catchy jingle, waved his arms, and got the whole town to invest in a train that shouldn't exist. Marge was the only person who read the manual, of course, and discovered Lanley was a fraud with a suitcase full of lies. The monorail barely worked, the town almost exploded, and Lanley vanished, probably selling teleportation chairs in another town by now. He never came back, but his monorail did, in spirit, and in every list of top episodes ever written. In that same episode, Ruth Powers was introduced, Laura's mom and Marge's brief best friend, with a car, a temper, and 0 tolerance for boring nights in. Ruth returned to Marge on the Lam, where she invited Marge on a Thelma and Louise-style night out that escalates from girls' night to police chase in record time. For once, Marge didn't bake muffins or deal with Homer's shenanigans. She drove fast and broke rules thanks to Ruth. After that, Ruth mostly disappeared, possibly being the coolest person not in the main cast. Still, for a hot minute, she gave Marge what no one else could, a ride-or-die friend with questionable judgment and a great car stereo. Then came Jessica Lovejoy, a girl so sneaky even the church couldn't keep up. She showed up in Bart's Girlfriend with white eyes and a halo made of pure mischief. Bart fell hard. Jessica smiled sweetly and then committed petty crimes with the flair of a Bond villain in pigtails. She stole from the church, framed Bart, and sauntered away like nothing happened. Bart, usually the cause of the chaos, found himself cleaning up someone else's mess. She was sent to boarding school, which may or may not have been Hogwarts for sociopaths. She never returned, but the memory of Bart being outbatted still haunts him. Beatrice Bea Simmons showed up in the episode Grandpa vs. Sexual Inadequacy from Season 2, which sounds wild, but Bea's part of the story was actually sweet. She was a kind and gentle woman living in the Springfield retirement castle, a place that makes boredom feel like a roommate. Bea liked the simple things, puzzles, warm tea, and talking with Grandpa Simpson, who's usually busy complaining about young people and prices going up. But when he met Bea, something changed. He smiled more. He talked less about the war and more about her. Their friendship turned into a soft, old-school kind of love. It wasn't flashy, but it made Grandpa happy in a way we hadn't seen before. For a while, he wasn't just Abe Simpson. He was someone's boyfriend. Sadly, Bea didn't stick around. She died off screen from a burst ventricle, which sounds scary and sudden, and it was. Before she passed, she left Grandpa $106,000 in her will. That's a lot of money for someone who thinks buying name-brand oatmeal is splurging. Instead of spending it on a boat or weird old man stuff, Grandpa gave the money to the retirement home. It was a sweet move that showed he really cared about the people there. Bea may have only appeared in one episode, but she left a big mark. She reminded us that even the crankiest people can find love, and that The Simpsons can be funny and touching at the same time. In the episode A Star is Burned from Season 6, a new face came to Springfield. Jay Sherman, a movie critic from the show The Critic. He showed up to help judge Springfield's film festival, which already sounds like a weird idea. Jay didn't fit in at all. While everyone in town was making silly films or starring in their own badly acted dramas, Jay was busy talking about cinema and saying things like avant-garde. He was smart, sarcastic, and not from around here, which made him funny to watch, but also a bit out of place. Some fans loved him, others didn't. That's because Jay wasn't just a guest. He was part of a cross-promotion for his own show. Some people felt like it turned the episode into an ad, but even with the drama, Jay's time in Springfield gave us great laughs. He argued with Barney, got confused by Homer, and added a different kind of humor. In the end, Jay judged the films, made fun of almost everything, and then disappeared from the show forever. Just like that, he was here, he was funny, and then he was gone like a pop-up ad you didn't mean to click, but secretly enjoyed. Next up is Chester J. Lambwick, who showed up in Season 7's The Day the Violence Died. Chester looked like just another old man yelling about how things used to be better. But it turns out he was right. He claimed to be the original creator of Itchy, the cartoon mouse from Itchy and Scratchy. Everyone laughed at first until he pulled out an old film reel that proved it. Suddenly, Chester went from crazy guy on a bench to rich guy with a lawyer. He won a huge lawsuit and took down the Itchy and Scratchy studio. After that, Chester disappeared from the show. He got his money and left. No goodbye, no follow-up, just poof. Fans liked his story because it was funny and also kind of deep. It showed how sometimes the real creators don't get the credit they deserve. Chester came in, dropped the truth, and walked out with his head high and wallet full. A true Springfield legend. Let's talk about Frankie the Squealer, who showed up in Season 12's Insane Clown Poppy. Frankie was a nervous little guy who talked way too much.
Did you know Fat Tony's real name is Marion?
You just don't get it, do you?
He worked with the mob, but couldn't keep a secret to save his life, literally. Every time he opened his mouth, something important spilled out. He didn't just squeal, he shouted. Watching him was like watching someone sit on a whoopee cushion that never stops. The mob clearly wasn't thrilled with Frankie. He gave away secrets faster than comic book guy hands out insults. It's heavily hinted that the mob took care of him, which is Springfield talk for he probably disappeared under suspicious circumstances. But even if Frankie didn't last long, people remembered him. He made crime funny, and his fast-talking panic made every scene funnier. Not bad for a guy who couldn't keep quiet for 5 minutes. Now meet Mindy Simmons from Season 5's The Last Temptation of Homer. She worked at the nuclear plant and liked the same things as Homer: food, naps, and not working too hard. For once, Homer found someone who actually got him. She was smart, funny, and nice. And for a minute, Homer thought about what life would be like with her instead of Marge. But in the end, Homer stayed loyal. Even with all the temptation, he realized he loved Marge more than anything. Mindy didn't make a scene or try to break up their marriage. She just quietly left. It was sad, but also kind of sweet. Mindy showed a different side of Homer, one where he made the right choice even if it was hard. She didn't stay on the show, but fans still remember her for that one moment when Homer almost lost it all and didn't. Then we have Rachel Jordan, the kind singer who met Ned Flanders in season 11 right after his wife Maude passed away. Rachel was gentle, kind, and hopeful. She and Ned got along really well. They had things in common like faith and music, and for a while it looked like Ned might smile again. But their relationship never really went anywhere. They tried dating, but the spark just wasn't there.
Oh my God, you're trying to make me look like your dead wife!
Rachel eventually moved on, and Ned went back to raising his boys and being Springfield's most polite man. Still, Rachel helped Ned during a tough time. She gave him hope when he needed it most. And even if things didn't work out, she was part of one of Ned's most heartfelt stories. And these one-time characters may not have stayed long, but they made Springfield feel bigger and more real. They made us laugh, made us think, and sometimes even made us cry a little. They showed that behind all the jokes, The Simpsons has heart and plenty of room for new faces, even if they only visit once. Which other one-time character from The Simpsons do you remember? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.